All right, Zulma Gonzalez, this mic is all yours.
Well, thankful Thursday to your family. All right, Sharon, enjoy your errands. Hi. Glad you're here. I was talking about you to a friend yesterday, Sharon. Good morning, everyone. I saw Cher, I see Robert, I see Lynn, I see Glorian. Sharon, I already mentioned Mickey. Hello to those of you here. To Katia, who's out there listening. Okay, so now I'm supposed to say like, subscribe, and comment. If you're watching on YouTube, please be so kind as to like, subscribe, and comment so we know who's here, who's listening, who's watching. And as we say at the Center of Peace, as Reverend Twana says, if something that you receive here touches you, moves you, inspires you, does anything for you that's wholesome and healthy that you want to extend, please do extend it. Share it with someone. You don't have to say who said it or whatever. Just extend the message. Extend the message, because that's what we're here for, to be the love that we are. And um and the best way to do that, one of the best ways to do that, is to, good morning, Robert. Thank you for that. Um I'm going Bob. I like Bob. I like Bob. The best way to do that is to share, just share. Um, Speaking of which, again, thank you, Bob. I'll get back to you because I haven't seen this, whatever your last message was. I haven't seen that yet. I saw the first one, and then I saw a message to check something else, but I have not because, oh, now Zulma's going to calm down a little bit and inhale. And as you're talking about contemplation and meditation, I am reminded that I have not given myself breathers. I have been um, wound up, wound up. I've let myself get wound up um, with this thing with my doggy. You know, those of you, lovable. I thought I moved these slides. Apparently, I didn't. Um, my doggy had started having these seizures, which the veterinarians have now said yes, definitely grand mal epileptic seizures, and started May 29th. Didn't have another one until June 28th, and then back and had two that day, and then um, July 11th, July 18th, just, it was starting to happen. Two, then four within the same time frame. And I was, and even though I got the message about being connected but not attached, I got that message, but it didn't stop me. I found myself wondering when next, what's happening next. Well, last Saturday, I took him to his veterinarian, and she spoke with me for over an hour, which was wonderful, um, wonderful. Um, anyway, she told me to take him off of all supplements, which I didn't understand because he'd been doing these supplements for the whole 2 years I've had him, um, prebiotic, probiotic, uh, allergy support, and all that. Anyhow, and hemp. Um, and I'm saying all that. That's just wasted talk. I was racking my mind, trying to figure out what I had done different. What was different about Lovable's life, um, that could possibly have contributed to that. Um, I thought maybe it was me letting him lick the fudge popsicle stick, get that last little bit of chocolate, which I found is toxic for dogs. Um, Maybe I thought maybe it was that, or the fact that he got a hold of a Ziploc with some nuts in it. Sometimes can be toxic. Too much can be toxic for dogs. Um, and I thought, okay, so I know about, keeping everything up, making sure that there's nothing in the food department, nothing. He gets nothing, not even he gets nothing, nothing that even resembles a leftover anymore, because I have to make sure that there's no garlic in it, and those things that are harmful to doggies. And I'm racking my brain and racking my brain. And she told me to stop giving him the hemp because I had gone from giving it to him once a day to giving it to him twice a day. And I was giving it to him once a day in the first place since November of 2023. Because I noticed he has this little nervous something. Remember, I found him on the street. Remember, he was stressed when he found me, soaking wet. Somebody was messing with him, and he was skin and bones, and nails curled all the way back to too far, and everything. He was a nervous little something, and he still will lay in his bed when he feels like it, and he starts chewing on it. Or sometimes he'll grab his thing. It just you see it's a nervous chew. It's not just he doesn't just grab his little chomp chomp thing for the sake of just chewing on its chomp chomp. You can see it's a nervous something, but I can tell it mostly from how he does it with his little bit. Anyhow, um, my my friend Debbie's mother, my bestie since third grade, her mother passed April 27th, and I have a digital photo frame. So instead of having pictures all around, because I'm not good at that, instead of having pictures all around, I have a digital photo frame and lots of pictures on it. Lynn, you're on it, Dub's on it, people are on it. A picture of us, Anyhow, so I have photos flashing all the time, and it sits. I'm sitting on the sofa right now. It sits right there in plain view on a piece of furniture right there. And I brought it downstairs in May, not too long after Miss Mary made her transition. And brain racking. I mean, brain racking. I had looked up all kind of things that cause seizures. Some of the TREATS snacks, some of the snacks they eat, and oh, okay, no more of that, and this other thing, and no more of that, and the little teeth cleaning things, and okay, no more of that. But it's something I just couldn't. On Sunday, he had a double, and I just kept shaking my head. And I was already aware, I was told, if you're watching television, make sure that there's a light on, because sometimes the flashing, I've heard that, the flashing from the screen and all that. And I gotten to the point where I make sure I pull my computer down, because I don't know what kind of, because, everything is always motion. Everything is in motion, even though it appears to be still. It's all energy and it's always moving. So I make sure I close the computer screen, because he likes hanging out here on the sofa. There he is. um, Stretched out. You would think he's asleep, but he's not. He's just hanging out where I am. Anyway, so I'm sitting here and I look at this photo thing, this digital photo frame. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. It's my baby boy. It's my baby boy. Um, I'm looking at this photo frame and I thought, huh, I Google, I researched, do digital photo frames um, provoke seizures? There it was. It's called photosensitive epilepsy. Photosensitive epilepsy. And the reason why I believe that that's it is because every single episode he's had, he was laying on the sofa when it started. Every one. Hey, brother, how are you, Regis? How are you? I'm gonna tell a story, Regis. I'm glad you're here. Um, but yeah, every single episode he's had, he was laying on the sofa when it started. And I'm thinking, why? And I believe that it's because that digital photo frame was right there where he's laying in his view. We'll see. Time will tell. I've turned it off, completely off. So if I want to see you guys, I have to go to another room, plug it in, and look at it. But um, so let's see what happens. And I'm not going to stop giving him the hemp. I was giving him two. I'm back to giving him one, because I believe. Besides, if hemp has, CBD, if whatever that is in there that gives it the calming effect, and he's been taking it every day since November of 2023, I don't think it's a good idea to just take him off just to, cold turkey. That's just my opinion. So That's my lovable story. So I've been tense about that. I've been, you know, tense about that. I'm going back to work in with the gentleman. He's back home on the caregiving position, but that's a 10-mile drive to and another 10-mile drive from, and I'm starting to feel like this. That's not really what I want to do anymore. I don't know. So, but today I'm going back. In fact, I'm going today. After I leave here, I'll be there at noon Eastern time. For the first time since right before he started having these those episodes. So anyhow, so I'm tense about that. I don't know if that's what I want to do. I mean, I know what I do want to do. I'm not going to speak that just yet. But I know what I want to do. I know what I want to do to earn additional income. And it's a service. It's a service in this capacity, basically. So, let spirit run my life. Let spirit run my life. Um, so yeah, so there's been just a lot of tension, and I realized as I was listening to um, what you all were talking about before this started about contemplation and meditation, that I have not been, my contemplations have not been peaceful ones. Contemplating, you know, contemplating um, this thing, that thing, but not in a, as Gloria mentioned, a contemplative, meditative state. Because what may start out as, if we're talking about going in, which is what it's all about, going in so that you can close off all this stuff where you can't judge by appearances because you don't even recognize the appearances. It all that all goes away. You go in, into the closet, as it says in the Bible, where you go in and you hang out with yourself. The Course calls it the habit of engaging with God, where you engage with God, where you engage with God. Um, you go into that place, and I have not been calm doing that. Forget meditation altogether. That's just not been happening, and I needed to hear that. I'm glad I showed up when I did. I needed to hear that, to remember. The Course says at the end of chapter 16, and what's considered the Course's version of the Lord's Prayer, um, at the very end of chapter 16, it says, "Forgive us our." It says, "The sleep of forgetfulness is only the unwillingness to remember." Being unwilling to remember, being unwilling to remember, getting caught up in the things that I'm seeing, getting caught up in the things that I'm hearing, getting caught up in what I'm feeling, getting caught up in my thoughts and thinking that they're real. Don't believe everything you think, Zulma. Oh, don't believe everything you think, and give yourself a chance to calm down and remember what you really are. Zulma, remember that you are God informed. Zulma, remember that you're it. To the extent that you grasp at it, you are it. This is the conversation I was having just this morning with my prayer sisters. Um, Somebody mentioned a book called, oh, all right, the mm, something seed, guy named, last name Carey. Um, it's gone. Trent, this, it's gone. It'll come back. But anyway, having this conversation, and she was saying that, that this person was talking about, that we're it. Well, yeah, that's really what it comes down to. And once we get that, once I get that, I'll speak for myself. Once I get that and really continue to hold on to that, because I know it. I know it. It's what I talk. It's what I breathe. It's what I study. It's what I what I practice most of the time. But in those times when I'm not practicing, it's because I'm in that sleep of forgetfulness. It's because I'm not choosing to engage. It's at those times when I'm forgetting that I am that I am in magnitude, that I am magnanimous, not little. It's those times when I forget. Even when I was, but when I was listening to this veterinarian on Saturday, as she's talking, I'm saying to myself, no, no, that's not. Mm-mm. And I'm not generally one. I'm not, and I understand that they're all just practicing, so I'm not generally one who takes everything I hear at face value from anyone, because as I said before, you follow any person, that's idol worship. So I'm not one to do that. Just because the doctor says it, I'm still going to look into it. If I not, it just didn't feel right that the hemp was the reason. Not since that's something I've been doing for so long. Anyhow, um, so now that I've got that and I've heard that and I can feel that, I will devote time intentionally, with intention, setting the intention for meditation and contemplation. Right, hey, big boy, I'm talking about you. Hey, hey, lovable, lovable, lovable. Um, see, um, that's it, the star seed transmission. I knew it was something with a seed. I knew it was something with a transmission. It just wasn't coming. Thank you, Lynn. The star seed transmission is the name of this book, but it's on YouTube and it's 2 hour long audio. I don't know if that's all of it, but I found it this morning. And so we were talking about the star seed transmission, and she was saying that she was starting to read that, and how that she kept saying that we are it, but that's the conversation we've continued to have. She's an ACIM student, and she's a practitioner of religious science, science of mind practitioner. Um, so we say it, it's, and we forget. We say it, and then we go into that sleep of forgetfulness, and we have a moment when we're doing something and it seems to be not working out, and we forget. Here's what we forget, and this is the way I heard it. This is the way I love it. The answer is already there. We forget that. Instead, we make a problem. We make a problem, and then we get our satisfaction, this ego satisfaction, when we find the solution to the answer that was already there. But again, we forget that. I forget that. That's the royal we. Let me do it that way. The royal we. Forget that. So today, this moment is about remembering to remember, as it says in the course, forgive me my illusions and help me to remember my true relationship with you, Father, in which there are no illusions and where none can ever enter. My holiness is yours. The sleep of forgetfulness is only the unwillingness to remember your forgiveness and your love. And I'm saying, as I'm saying this, that your that I'm talking about is not something out there, or it's everything out there, but it's in here first, because we're taught that the kingdom of heaven is me, is you, is us. It's the royal we. The kingdom of heaven is us. So when we're doing that, our Father which art in heaven, it's my real self which art within. What can there be in me that needs forgiveness when it's already perfect? Life, God, spirit, energy, it's already perfect. So as it says, let us not wander into temptation. It's not even possible. It's not possible. Whether it be in the Lord's Prayer, whether it be in the one in the court, it's not possible. God, life, truth cannot lead me into temptation. It's not possible, because, as it continues, because temptation is not God's will for me. And let me receive only what God has given and accept but this into the mind which God created, which life created, which spirit created, and which life God Spirit loves. Forgive us our illusions, Father, and help us to accept our true relationship with you, in which there are no illusions and where none can ever enter. Our holiness is yours. What can there be in us that needs forgiveness when yours is perfect? The sleep of forgetfulness is only the unwillingness to remember your forgiveness and your love. Let us not wander into temptation. Let me not wander into temptation. I will not wander into temptation, because temptation, let us not wander into temptation, but that is the temptation. Okay, I'm not. I don't have my. I lost. I lost the quote of it. Let us not wander into temptation, but temptation is not for the Son
Because
of
the
God. That's not,
temptation of the Son of God is not your will.
is not your will. I knew you had it, Gloria. I knew you had it. I knew you had it. And let us receive only what you have given, and accept but this into the mind which you created and which you love. The sleep of forgetfulness is the unwillingness to remember. And that's what that's where I am. It's about the habit, the habit, the habit of engaging with God. That statement is only in there once in the course. The habit of engaging with God. The habit of engaging with God is easy if I actively refuse to let my mind slip away. But no, what am I doing? I'm all in the, trying to find out how to high my tolerance for pain is. I'm trying to, rack my brain and rack my brain and rack my brain and be tense and be irritable and figure out, go to this doctor and pay that money and go to that doctor and pay that money. And then, be in this part of my head because now, I'm taking, no, I'm not taking money from Peter to pay Paul. Not like that. It's not like that. But it's money that I wasn't planning to spend on this, because I wanted to use it for that. I don't need it for that, but that kind of thing. So I'm stop, 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 stop. What I'm doing today is I'm going to mind my mind. Let's find. Oh, I forgot about these. Uh, mind my mind. Um, and figure out what the heck I'm doing with these slides. Oh, the story I was going to tell. So Sunday, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, it was July the 6th. I had the opportunity to speak at the Center of Peace, and I talked about that last week, I believe, about surrender and Lot's wife and all that, and um, the importance thereof. And I didn't go to service on Sunday, and I think I need to talk about this too. Let me come down out of this. Let me come down, because I need your help, family. I need your help. I need your help. Um, I wasn't there last Sunday, and I was absolutely glad that I wasn't. Regis listened to the service from the Center of Peace. Reverend Twana did a magnanimous job, as she does, and she referenced the talk that I gave 2 weeks prior. She was on vacation, which is why I was given the opportunity to give the talk in the first place. She asked, I said yes. And she referenced me more than once, more than twice. And I was sitting right here where I am right now and glad that I was not there. So ever since, okay, how do I start? So my mother taught me you don't brag. And I don't know, maybe, I don't know. And I'm talking and I don't know if there's a level of bragging in the Puerto Rican culture that's different in other cultures, but you just don't brag. You just, you don't. That to me came to actually mean not to say anything positive about myself. It came to mean that to me, and I'm talking this out as I'm just talking this out. I was the child, the one in the neighborhood who was the only child. I was the Spanish speaking child. I was the one who lived in the big house on the corner. I was the one who went to Catholic school. I was the one who was quote, quote, different and singled out. Um, I got punched in the face when I was in 8th grade. This girl walked up to me and she said some things, words I choose not to use here. Who do I think I am? Expletives deleted. Expletives. I'm trying to act like I'm some quote quote Puerto Rican, MF in Puerto Rican. And before, I don't even know who this woman who's girl, might as well have been a woman to me, but who was this tall woman, and I'm looking up at. I don't know who she is. I don't know how she found out who I was. I found out later, and all this about trying to act like I'm some MF in Puerto Rican. And before I could even begin to say anything or put a thought together, she punched me squarely in my face, squarely in my face. Yeah, see that looks in the screen? Squarely in my face. I went down, I was out. There was no fight. There was always a thing for me about being singled out. In 9th grade, I left Catholic school because I was never there. I was a school hooking school was my career, became my career. And I was put out of Catholic school and I went to public school, but I was in this particular junior high school for a month and a half, only a month and a half. And one of my classes was Spanish. I was the Spanish speaking, my first language Spanish in this class. Now there was a a girl in this class, and I won't name names, 'cause I don't know who's listening. I don't want to single her out, but she was the top student in this class. Really, really good. I mean, I get to hear all this, and the teacher, having found out now that he knew that I was, that I spoke Spanish, my first language, he would constantly say, "Isn't that right, Zulma? What do you think about that, Zulma?" I was being singled out in this class, and I felt horrible, absolutely horrible. Now, and don't get me wrong, I understand, as as was said to me this morning when I was talking about it with my prayer sisters, I understand that he was recognizing my quote quote expertise as a Spanish speaking student. I get that, but it didn't stop me from feeling absolutely horrible for being singled out. I was in years later, I'm in a visual communication class in college, and um we had a project, our final project, our class project. There was a written thing. We had to go to the museum and find a painting, particular paintings that we would, and then we had to write about it. That we had to explain it, background, foreground, lighting, and this and that, implied lines, this whole thing. Fantastic class, loved it. And I wasn't sure if I was on the right path with my paper. So I gave my draft to the instructor and asked him to, give me some feedback so I can know if I'm on the right path. The following class, and I'm so glad he didn't call my name. He's telling the class what he was looking for. Others were asking the same question, what he's looking for. And he starts reading my paper, my draft. And I really wanted to, you see what I'm doing? I really wanted to disappear. I really was trying to, you know, so thankful he didn't call my name. So thankful he didn't do that. Which brings me to this past Sunday. And I'm saying, I'm glad I wasn't there because she kept referencing me and what I said in my talk and referencing my talk. And I had that same feeling. And it feels horrible to me. Horrible. Um, and I'm actually getting, wow. Help me through this, because I can't. And again, I understand that it was because she she felt it. She got it. She knew that where I was coming from, that I got it, and that it was worth referencing. I got that. I'm so thankful I wasn't there. All right, Gloria.
Okay, so I think I get what you're saying here, and I think the thing is to come to recognize that the only thing that is good is God. So why call it thou me good? However, you did the work in the willingness to get out of the way to be able to hear that voice. So yeah, it's not that the worth comes from our ego or our carnal mind, because we're all the same. But our worth is given us, established by the authority of the Christ. So that's what truly shares and does the healing and is the good. And I know for myself, same thing. Like I don't like any kind of praise or anything else like that. But the recognition is, as far as this is concerned, that it only comes from God, but we can accept the fact that we've been willing and learned and practiced enough to get out of the way so that we can hear that still small voice working through us. Thanks.
Thank you. But I'm not saying that the work that I didn't get out the way, that the work wasn't good. I'm not saying that. I was comfortable with it, all of it. Being in having Spanish as my first language, grateful that, the teacher, liked, that he thought that what the work I was doing was, I got the highest grade in the class and still did the extra. I mean, I was the only one in the class that did the extra credit work. That's funny. And it's funny if I'm telling the story. It's funny if I'm telling. I think it's, being caught off guard. It's like I wasn't prepared for this, and my feeling, I see your hand, Regis. My feeling that I'm going to get punched in the face again, so to speak. That somebody's going to you got singled out, you were made special, they made you special. So therefore, I have to get away from you. That's how it feels to me. Okay, Regis, you got it.
Yeah, and before I say what I want to say, I just have to say we all have triggers for many reasons. And so it's time to let go of that punch in the face, right? So it's time to let go of that punch in the face, and it's just time to let it go. It came up to be healed. you know, One of the things that we say, I'm here only to be truly helpful. So when you help, and I say, thank you for helping me. Oh, what you really helped me. Why am I in resistance to that? When I'm always talking about I'm here only to be truly helpful. My wife and I was driving, and she said something that was contradictory. I can't even remember exactly what it was, but I asked her, well, what happens when who you say you are contradicts with what you want?
Huh.
What you gonna go with? You gonna go with, and I'm air quoting, who I am. I'm this way. I can remember this, Zulma, this had to be the late 70s or early 80s. And people laugh in hysteria whenever I say this, but I say I used to be shy and bashful. And people like, not you, Regis, that's insane. They just think that's hilarious to even hear me say that. But just as clear as you talking on this Zoom, the voice of God inside of me said, people need to hear what you have to say. And you need to talk. I mean, if I thought you had on a nice outfit, I would think it in my mind, but I wouldn't say it at that time. I wouldn't say, oh, I love your outfit. I love your glasses. I think what you did. I was that bashful. I would think it, but I would not, it would not come out of my mouth. And the voice of the Holy Spirit inside me said, people need to hear what you have to say. You're blessing, you're helping. So what happens when who we been brainwashed to say, this is who I am, this is how I always felt, so this is me, conflicts with our call, with our calling. So you're going to go with who you are or with your calling. Now, my daughter, we haven't talked verbally still to this day, but in our written text email communication, now she's a singer. I've shared her, I think I shared with you and Karen a clip. But you know what she wrote to me one time? Well, I don't like to be to socialize and be in front of people. And I'm private. Well, what happens when that conflicts with you wanting to be a successful recording artist? Those two things don't work together. And one of the things that me and Tracy, I challenge her so often because she's so quick to say, I'm this. This is me. I'm this way. Okay, says who? This is what that's what we do. I've said this for many years on ACIM Gather in my talks. The moment we come out of our mother's womb, we start being conditioned, or you can say brainwashed, conditioned by our caregivers. As you mentioned, my mama always said, don't brag, so we got these things, they coming up to be healed. It's no different than someone being raised about aversion to money. Money don't grow on trees. Who do you think I am, Rockefeller? And so we have, and a lot of people have an aversion to money. Money is not spiritual. If you talk too much about money, then you'll start getting these little mild rebukes about this not real, that's not real, the world's not real, money's not real. It's like, okay, what's paying for my internet? What's affording me the opportunity to be on this Zoom with you right now? We can say I love pizza, but we can't say I love money. But what buys the pizza that we love? What buys the ice cream that you love? I love ice cream, okay, but I can't say I love money that buys the ice cream. So we have these contradictions that blocks us. The course is about removing the blocks to love. They just blocks, and we lock into them, and they come up to be questioned, to be healed. So your question is, y'all help me with this. What do I do? It comes up to be questioned. Is it valid? Is it legitimate? Is it true? So I think, you were truly helpful, and you helped your pastor. You helped the congregation, so much so that they still want to talk about it. When I was doing Morning Glory at 4, what time was it then? 4 or 5 o'clock, 4 a.m. And most of my audience was in the UK. And I was like, cause it was, for them, it was like right before noon. Whatever time I was in the UK, it was like, cause a lot of people would be like, I'm getting ready to go to lunch now after, after Morning Glory here. So, but people start quoting me, cause that was back in the Twitter days, a lot of tweeting in Twitter, and people in the UK was quoting stuff from Regis Reeves. And I loved it. And I bragged about it. I'm like, people quoting me in the UK. All right. I'm worldwide. I'm internationally. I mean, enjoy this journey. We're in a body. Stop resisting this journey as this experience in a body. Enjoy it. Embrace it. It's all God. It's all good. It's all love. You just said it earlier, that everything is God. I heard you say it. It's all God. I heard you say it. So enjoy it. And those old triggers and those old conditionings are just coming up to for you to question, right, like you're doing right now, so that they can be let go of, and that you can be even happier, that you can be even more joyous, that you can embrace it all. So anyway, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, oh international one. Oh my gosh. I see your hand, Gloria. Now that was not okay. So I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna stop. I hear it. I hear it, and I'm receiving. I just want to say that it's not. I've shared my talk. Send the link out to some people, and even then, it's just still a little. But I've shared the link with people and stuff like that. It's one thing to me. It's why I'm making it different. It's one thing if I share the link and I know you've got the link. It was another thing. Oh, in fact, came in here one day and I had shared it with some people, and then somebody else had seen it and had mentioned it, and it caught me off guard. And I think it's really the being caught off guard as I'm talking this through. It's the being caught off guard. I didn't ask for this uh whatever applause. I didn't ask for this recognition. And it's so I guess it's catching me off guard. I think it's that. It's that. Okay, all right. I'm saying it out loud because, as you say, I'm bringing it up to get it out. You can't heal it unless I feel it. And Lord, I wasn't even expecting tears with it, but here it is. Go ahead, Gloria.
Yeah, this is a great conversation. I love everything you shared, Regis and Zulma. So much was coming to me, and there's no doubt that you are truly humble. So I think it's really kind of a trigger about being embarrassed or still going back to that worth being established by God. But I love what Regis shared. And absolutely, we're here to share our thoughts and ideas as received. And you do such a wonderful job in blessing. But that's not what we're talking about. I do understand. So when we recognize that these things come up so we can bring our unconscious to the conscious, that's the atonement process, the undoing of our fear and guilt consciousness, then we can let it go. These are things that are still under there, feeding us with that ego voice, and it's always a blessing. But what I was hearing when you discussed the punch, now I think I understand more fully about what you were saying. So being concerned about the punch, we recognize that only my condemnation injures me. So if I feel that I'm going to be judged or punched, I'm the one doing the judging. And that empowers us because we can change our thoughts about that. And, I know for my own self, I had to, I would be like, oh, should I have said that? No, if I am in alignment with spirit and I'm allowing that to flow, it's perfect. And I have learned not to judge it, not to think about, oh, is my New York accent coming out too much, all of that. So I think any kind of feeling, being embarrassed by it or any form of the uncomfortability that it takes is still a manifestation of the ego. So we have to let go of that and trust in our worth and our being established by God and really rest in that because you are here to be a messenger of God. So what Regis was saying, I'm here to be only truly helpful. When we recognize that I can only be truly helpful if I'm in my right mind, aligned with Christ consciousness, Holy Spirit, whatever word we want to use, because the ego is never helpful. So these voices come in to bring us into temptation. Should I, would I, could I, all crazy, all the incessant thoughts that we all know and come in from that one ego. We're being asked to let that go and to lay it aside and to accept our divinity, accept our worthiness, which is the trust that Jesus talks about in the Course. And only then, when we trust, when we accept what we are, and we refuse to listen to that fearful voice of the ego, but allow the Christ to go forth, then it's perfect. And that's the trust. The trust is in accepting what I am in truth and allowing that to go forth and direct and guide my life. Thanks so much.
Well, I've got stuff to contemplate. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm sitting here and I'm hearing it, Okay, Zulma, it's contradictory. Truly helpful, quote, afraid that of the recognition that comes with being truly helpful. Is it me? Or is it the spirit working through me? Am I going to get, is my body going to get punched in the face for this? Is somebody going to roll their eyes? They're going to, not want to speak to me anymore? Are they? And I hear it. I hear it loud and clear. Do I think that they're going to think? No, me thinking. Are they going to think that I think that I'm quote better, or I'm whatever? And I understand it's my condemnation injuring me. It's me thinking. It's what I always say, that it's not what I think, it's what I think. It's not what I think that hurts me, it's what I think about what's the thing. It's not the thing, it's what I think about the thing. It's not what they're thinking, it's what I think they're thinking. And I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it. These real world examples are so good. Go ahead, Regis. Mm.
Yeah. So, uh, one of the things, I think, relationship marriage is just really a good mirroring back and forth situation. And so we have a lot of conversations here in this house. But one of the things with Tracy, is that we do have traumas and triggers. And one of the things that was very undermining for us was her always waiting for the shoe to drop. We just have some experiences that we developed this mind that for every good thing there's got to be a bad thing. What's coming around the corner. Because and so that mindset of just constantly waiting for the shoe to drop, because this is good, this feels good, I'm happy, I'm being praised, I'm being lifted up. Because one of the things that's fun for me, and I said this to her last night, it's always, I said, when you met me, all you had to say was, I want, I think I want, I need, and boom, Regis got it. And I said, it was my pleasure. And it's still my pleasure to give. In a relationship, you have an opportunity to give daily, all day. It's I take all opportunities in the house and out of the house to give, to bless, to be a blessing. So, but when someone is been conditioned, there are people. I heard a minister say one time that he was wrestling with, how sometimes when life is going so good, you're waiting on something bad to happen because everything is going too good. That's crazy. That's the only way I can say it. That's just, but those things come up to be healed. I remember when I first started playing piano, and of course, I wasn't playing at church. That church found out I could play, and then they started putting me up there and I won't say making me play, asking me to play, forcing me to play, whatever, arm twisting me to play in front. But I remember this one girl who I did have a crush on. And after that church service, it was a big thing, the church was packed, and I was one of the key musicians, and I was a kid. I was still in high school, junior high school, somewhere in there. And she came up to me, who you think you are, Liberace? So, I was an adult before I really contemplated that moment from an adult eyes, not from a child eyes, but from an adult eyes. Because from the child that was spoken to, it was a punch. Like you say, it was a punch in the face. Like the tone and the comparison, it was just But then I look back, I said, "Oh, she was really just saying, I'm really impressed with your talent. We didn't even know you could play the piano." That's what she was really saying. And so these things, they come up to be healed, like Gloria is saying. They just come up to for us to really let go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Just not even. I don't over process. I don't overthink. It's just okay. That's not valid. Let it go. Boom. That happened when I was a kid. I'm an adult now. Am I going to still process that experience from the kid, or am I going to process it from an adult? you know, and I find this is a challenge in our marriage a lot of times, that we're looking at a experience still from the child eyes. But the Bible say, when I was a child, I interpreted as a child, I spoke as a child, I reacted as a child. But as an adult, I've put away the immature childish mind, and now I have the ability to take those childhood experiences, whether they rape, a punch in the face, or a comment, or whatever. Now I can look at those experiences from an adult, from the truth of who I am, from the truth of who I know I am. I can now reprocess those experiences and be healed. Thanks.
That's perfect. Above all else, I want to see this differently. I see two hands. I see Mickey and then Bob. Go ahead, Mickey.
This is such a great conversation. And Regis, I got to tell you, when you first said that girl walked up to you and said, "Who do you think you are, Liberace?" The first thing that came into my mind was she had a crush on you and she didn't know what to say. So she had to give some sort of sassy comment. And that's how we think all the time. We're conditioned to think the worst of everything. And I keep thinking this thought when these negative things come in to my mind. And Zulma, I know exactly what you're talking about. I squirm when people say nice things about me. I don't know what it is, but we just if it's shyness or we're just conditioned to think that way from youth. I don't know whoever told me, like you're nothing, don't take any compliments as anything real. But who are we going to listen to? Are we going to listen to the voice that loves us inside our head, or are we going to listen to the inner critic? We all have both of those in our heads. We have that voice that really loves us, and we have that voice that just wants to criticize everything we do. And I've given her a name. Her name is Betty in the back seat, and she's always got something to say. And we just have to learn not to listen. That no, thank you. No, thank you. I think if somebody praised you for something you did, try as hard as we might, we should we should definitely like take it in and just say thank you. I've learned that I could be squirming inside. I could be getting so uncomfortable, and I just look the person in the eye and say, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate that." And the more I do that, the quieter that inner critic is getting. So let's all shut up, Betty. Thanks.
Thank you for that. And for me, the one-on-one is one thing. It's one thing. So what you're talking about, Mickey, I've learned to just say thank you. It's not, I like that dress. Oh, this whole thing. No, it's not that. I say thank you. Then I might say this whole thing. But I've learned to take the compliment if it's coming this way. But Glorian wrote in the chat, worthiness, and that's what it comes down to. Do I feel that I'm worthy? What do who is it that's feeling this? Who is it that I think I am? Where's this worthiness or unworthiness feeling coming from? Am I remembering that my worth is established by my creator, that I am created in the image and likeness of God? Am I remembering that at that time? Hell no, I'm not remembering that at that time. At the time, I'm thinking, don't brag. You're not this, you shouldn't that. And, and all that shoulding that was done to me, all that domestication, as it says in the Four Agreements, all that domestication that I received, it's times like that, that it seems to come up. I appreciate this. Yes, Bob. Thank you.
I want to just say something basically to Regis, because I can relate so much to what you were going through, my brother. I have, for those of you that know me, I write essays and books. It was something I started late in life, and it started with a crazy idea, tiny bad idea, and it eventually evolved into something. But when I started writing the spiritual books, I started putting them up on Kindle and making them available for 5 days for absolutely free. And there were times when, in a single month, I gave away almost 1,000 books.
Wow.
And I was watching where they're being sold or given away. And it was, United States, obviously, but Canada, UK, Brazil, the Netherlands. I'm looking at people getting these books from all over the world. Well, my ego, it exploded. Oh my God, I'm an international author. Well, we know that's a bunch of BS, because the bottom line was, it wasn't me that sold those books. It wasn't me that was getting the adulation, although my ego thought so. It was the voice behind the books, capital B. Okay? Just like it wasn't Helen who got the adulation for writing A Course in Miracles. It was the voice, Jesus, behind Helen. And I thanked God for Helen's willingness to do that, because if it wasn't for her and her willingness, I would not be here today.
I thank you for being here today. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Knew I came to the right place this morning. I didn't plan. I put some slides together and all that, and this was not the plan. This was not the plan. I had planned to talk to Regis offline about this, because he had let me know that, basically with the text message that he sent me, I knew that he had heard Reverend Twana's message, and a few minutes ago it occurred to me that this is live. This is being live streamed. All that, I thought, oh, what if? And I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is, and there's nothing wrong with what it is. It is what it is. It's still all God. It's all God. But I had planned on talking to Regis offline and taking in his words of wisdom. And I thought, oh, now wait a minute. Regis isn't the only one with words of wisdom. I got a whole family here. I appreciate. Thank you so much. Yes, Gloria, go ahead.
I'm going to make you laugh because we have to laugh. Maybe you're just afraid of being burned at the stake again, sister.
In the form of a punch in the face. It hurts. Trust me, that hurts. I'm taking above all else, I want to see this differently. Above all else, I want to get out of the ninth grade class and how that person in the class felt about me, and the students that ended up talking about me, because I like that. Look at that, oh Dove, look at that. that Regis, this man, he's just collecting pictures. I love how you do that. I want a copy of that. Regis, send it to me, please. I love that. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. And I want to get out of that that moment when I want to get past that. I'm already past it. It's only my thoughts that are injuring me. Back to that. It's not happening now. It's not the thing. It's what I think about the thing. There's no there's no punch in the face. There better not be, because today I'll fight back. But it's not that. Huh. It's really about remembering, and just remembering the truth that it's spirit, as Bob just said. BS, bad. That's a belief system. BS stands for belief system. Compliments of Eugene Holden, Reverend Eugene Holden. I love that from him. Who did the message the week after me, July 13th. If you want to go listen to the Center of Peace, CSL. That's CSL stands for Center for Spiritual Living. The Center of Peace, CSL. Reverend Eugene Holden, who gave a beautiful rendition, his rendition of the Aramaic prayer, the Lord's Prayer. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But anyway, so it's really about letting myself, being willing to see things differently, letting myself being willing to see things differently. And this has to be the beginning of it, because I did this out loud, live streamed. and I know that Katia is listening. She's one of the members of the center. Yes, Lynn, go ahead, my love.
It is just so funny, Zulma. And you may have noticed this. You may have had this happen to you before. People hear what they come here to hear. And it may not be even what you said at all. They're going to hear something, and they're going to hear what the Holy Spirit says to them. They're not going to hear what you said at all. And I know that for a fact. I have so many times had people say to me, when I heard you say this, Lynn, it made me think this and it changed me. And I'm like, when did I ever say that? And I'll go back and listen to what it was they heard. And I do not hear it at all. But they heard something that I didn't say. That was like the Holy Spirit just spoke to them, and they attribute it to me, but it wasn't me at all. In no way. And it was like a new idea to me. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. And, I'm so smart to think of it, but I didn't say it. What I'm saying is the Holy Spirit's in charge of what we say, and the Holy Spirit's in charge of what we hear. And that's the truth. Where it doesn't matter. You don't have to watch your mouth or watch your thinking or any of those things. You just have to let go and know that it's none of your business what another person hears, because it's none of your business what you say, because you're going to say what you're going to say, and they're going to hear what they're going to hear. And it's always the best thing. So anyway, that's all I really had to say about that. Oh, look, my friend, Rev Glenn. Oh, yes, yes. Listen to the voice that likes you. Exactly. That's it. Just listen to that voice that loves you. Anyway, turning the mic back to you.
I like that. Listen to the voice that likes you. Huh. Yes. All right. It's sinking. It's sinking. Like I said, my contemplations and my meditations were absent, and my contemplations were not for my best interest. They were not for the highest and the best. They were just trying to get by, just trying to get by. All right. I thank you. I thank you. I'm going to pack the ninth grade classroom and that teacher whose face I can't even see. The ninth grade Spanish teacher, I cannot even see his face. I don't remember his name. I only held on to the experience, and in chapter 5, section 4, paragraph 8, one of my favorites, it says, it asks the question, how can you who are so holy suffer? And it says, all of your past, except its beauty, is what still remains. All of the past except its beauty. Wait a minute, speaking of beauty, you got to see this. Look at where he has positioned himself. That's his blanket there. That's my hand right there. And that's his little head right there. Look at my baby. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, man. And I can't take him to work with me anymore. They told me I can't take him with me because of the seizures. They're afraid he's going to bite somebody. When he seizes, he doesn't go anywhere but right there wherever he is. But they told me I can't take him with me. So is that not the case? I wish I could get a picture of that. Somebody do a screenshot of that for me, please. Somebody get a screenshot of that. Appreciate it. Talking about so it's really about the moment called now. I found I came across a Meister Eckhart quote this morning, and I decided to look into more of this Meister Eckhart. I'm going to bring the screen back up. I'm trusting somebody took that screenshot for me. Thank you. And if not, well, it'll be in the video. I'll be able to get it. So Meister Eckhart, cool guy. He was from the 1200s into the 1300s, and I had seen his name, of course, numerous times. Heard his name numerous times, but never really took time to look into this Meister Eckhart person. And this morning was the morning. He has, I just pulled a few of his quotes, and one of them, well, before that, yeah. One of them is that the most important hour is always the present. I can put it on the screen. I don't see it. Hold it. Oh. The most important hour is always the present. The most significant person is precisely the one sitting across from you right now. Now, as I'm reading that, as you all were talking, and this has been sitting in front of me, this quote has been sitting in front of me all this time, and I'm looking at all of you sitting in front of me, and I'm thinking that maybe he's talking about the person in the mirror, but you are all my mirror too. I'm having that rush, that love rush. You don't know that I'm having a real love rush, and it's starting to bring up more emotion for me, and that's okay. You can't know, no, you do know, how grateful I am, how appreciative I am of you, 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 being here for me, um, with a virtual hug, with a virtual kiss, with virtual hearts coming my way, with the love that I am worthy of, because you're giving me what you are, and I'm getting it. I'm taking it in. I'm taking it in, and I'm grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The most important hour is always the present. The most significant person is precisely the one sitting across from you right now. And the most necessary work is always love. I love that. I absolutely love that. I was just grabbing quotes. He says, there's a huge silence inside each of us that beckons us unto itself. Now, I was thinking this morning, when I found this quote, I actually first thought, Zulma, you haven't you haven't been meditating. It came to me. I could hear the ego speaks loudest and first, and the quiet voice. Are you comfortable? Sure. Yeah. Um, that quiet voice. Okay, the quote. There is a huge silence inside each of us that beckons us into itself, and the recovery of our own silence can begin to teach us the language of heaven. I could show this one on the screen too. This one's cute too. Kind of cute. There is a huge silence inside each of us that beckons us into itself. See, I told you I was stressing. There was all this stuff going on, all this stuff going on, all this clatter and chatter and natter, and it didn't matter. All right, poet, write it down. Um, um, the huge silence, the need to just be still and know, just be still and know. Thank you, brother. Be still and know. And the recovery of our own silence can begin to teach us the language within. It's within. It's not something out there. It's something in here. It's in here, and it's always in here. And he goes on in another quote. He says, and suddenly it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings. Now has no meaning to the ego. That sentence was one of the breakthrough sentences for me. That was a sentence that I read the day the course came alive to me. That's chapter 13, section 4 in the function of time. And I think it's the beginning of paragraph 5. Now has no meaning to the ego. It reminds you only of past hurts. Isn't that something that I come in bringing something that, of course, was in the past? But isn't that what we do? We forget the principles. Somebody was talking about, that was Glorian, talking about the importance of, and I was just telling this to somebody, you hold the principles. If we're living by principle, if that always have that thing to hold on to, then all that other stuff doesn't matter. It's like, the windstorm coming and you grab hold of that oak tree, and you got a good hold of that oak tree that's firm and stable. It's rooted deep. Its roots are deep, and you get a hold of that oak tree, and the winds are blowing, and it's just that you and that oak, and nothing is shaking it. It's not moving it. It's just right there. That's what principle is, to grab hold of the principle, which is why we're given that. Somebody said that they didn't think it should be at the beginning of the book. I don't understand why they thought that. Doesn't matter. But the miracle principles, they're principles. And Thomas Troward wrote that principle is not bound by precedent, which means that the past has nothing to do with the principle. The principle, it's the isness. It's an always. And the course says it always has no direction. It's always, and it's firm, and it's rooted. But no, what do? We want to take the past and think that it's now. And we want to use it. I'll speak for myself, and I use it to hurt myself with. You comfortable? What's wrong with you? Yeah. Holding on to the past as if it's now, and it's not. Raymond Charles Barker said that yesterday ended at midnight, and Mary, what's her name? Mary Morrissey said that it's a brand new baby day. and Meister Eckhart, and suddenly you know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings. Above all else, I want to see this differently, because now is the only aspect of time that has meaning now, just now, only now. I'm trying to find a quote that grabs me, moves me. He said, for the person who has learned to let go and let be, nothing can ever get in the way again. Nothing can ever get in the way again. Not a Spanish teacher, not a person questioning who I am and whether or not I'm trying, as she put it, trying to be an MF in Puerto Rican. It sounds crazy. It does. It's insane. Um, but not somebody with a fist waiting to to uh to try to stop me from. Oh, and I had gotten to the point I had stopped speaking Spanish for the longest time. Oh, it used to drive mommy crazy. Oh, it drove mommy crazy. I took away my own name. I had just a nickname, and that's all I went by. I mean, I really let that, as we do, we let what others say and what others do become our reality. We give it value. We that's crazy. That's insanity. There's a sentence in the course that there's a sentence in the course that says that insanity, what is it? Something like the insanity makes sense to the insane, something like that. That the cause for insanity makes sense to the insane, something like that. And I just read that the other day, and it gave me a good chuckle. Where is that? What did it? I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. Glad to write that one down. Um, it was it's insane. It's insane. Don't we know the truth. We know the truth. The case for insanity is strong for the insane. For reasoning ends at its beginning, and no thought source transcends its source. Yet reasoning without meaning cannot demonstrate anything, and those who are convinced by it must be deluded. I found that, and I thought that was just hilarious. And I didn't write where that is, but somebody, just type in insanity, strong, insane, you'll find it. I thought the case for insanity is strongly to the insane. I have to think myself crazy to think that what was, and of course, just how the course says it, that what was is what is. I keep expecting, Regis mentioned, the other shoe to drop. All these years, no shoes. Never saw the first shoe fall in the first place. Waiting for the other shoe to drop. That and this is and I'm saying this from an insane perspective, that I'm gonna walk into the center on Sunday and nobody's gonna want to speak to me. That they're gonna look at me like da 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 da. All that. I'm saying it out loud now because I'm realizing that that's what that was. Please don't leave me. Please don't put me in a position of lack. Please like me. Please. That's ego all the way. Something just came up in the chat. That's ego all the way. That's me thinking that they are my idols and that my worth is established by them. Whoa. I'm saying it out loud because I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. I am seeing it so clearly. I am seeing it so clearly. Something, I did see something in the chat. And now, oh, yes. Yes. Oh yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Regis found it. It's from chapter 11, section 5, paragraph 16, sentences 3 through 5. It made me chuckle. The case for insanity is strong to the insane. So this whole thing, you all can see it. I'm coming out right along with you all. I was in this frame, a frame of pain, a frame of fear, a frame of questioning my worth to others. Not because listen, I'd be the first to tell you that my worth is not established by you. My worth is established by God. I'm quick to say it, but in that moment, I was lost in that sauce. Talk about insanity. I, I wish the center was open right now. Like I could go up in there and just, now I'm looking forward to Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. Come what may. Come what may. Um, I remember, and I've told this story before, Bob. This is new to you. When I first started seeing Dr. Winston Collins, he was a psychologist. After I had stopped using nicotine and had a hate issue with my mom, and finally decided almost a year later to go see this Dr. Winston Collins, and he gave me the first day, he gave me an assignment, and the assignment was to tell my mother that he said hello. Tell my mother, he said, and I'm thinking, oh no, I'm not doing that. I was scared to death. Oh my God, she's gonna hate me. No, mind you, I went to see this Dr. Collins because I told him I hated my mother. But I'd also said I was her only child, and the day was going to come, I was going to have to take care of her, and the way I felt I couldn't do it, to please help me. So I was seeking help to get out of that feeling of hatred. At the same time, I was afraid to go home and tell not go home, I was and have my own place. But I was afraid to tell my mother that this man said hello because I was afraid of what she was going to say. And I remember thinking, she's going to say this and she's going to say that, and she's going to tell me I'm crazy, and she's going to tell me, and she's going to say this and she's going to say that. I was scared. Oh, I was afraid. And I remember thinking, I'm not doing it. I'm just not going to tell her. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go back next week to the next session, and I'm not going to do it. And the day before the next session, I started becoming afraid of what he would say if I didn't do the assignment. I'm like, no. So now it's like, okay, which was greater here? I was living in fear. I was rooted in fear. Everybody was pulling my strings. Everybody was pulling my strings all the time. All the time. And I was afraid of what he would say that if I went back in and that I really didn't, that I wasn't serious, that I really didn't, whatever. So I decided on the phone to tell mommy, what Dr. Collins said. That I was seeing, that I went to a psychologist, and that he told me, that was a therapist. I went to a therapist, and he told me to tell her hello. And I'll tell you, everything I thought she was going to say was exactly what she said. She was ballistic. Mommy went ballistic. She yelled and she screamed and everything, and told me I was crazy, and that he was going to make me crazy, and I shouldn't be telling the family business, and why was I talking about her? And this, oh my God. Everything I thought she was going to say, she said it. And as I had learned to say, the sky didn't fall and the world didn't come to an end. And the short version and the happy ending was that my mother became my best friend. And I also was open to A Course in Miracles. That same year I became open to A Course in Miracles. That was December 1992. When he told me that if I looked at what role I played, this is always the question, the thought, the reality. If you look at what role you play in a situation, you will realize that there's nothing to forgive. Of course, when he first said that, I thought he was crazy. I thought it was absolutely mean, nothing to forgive. Haven't I been telling you all these weeks? And then I found a sentence. There is a sentence in the Course that very plainly says, there is nothing to forgive. Very plainly, there is nothing to forgive. And it's true. Oh, nice, nice. Bob, Come What May was the song he chose at his wedding song to Cherry. Cherry? I like that. And they're truly living that out today. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Wow, family, you have been astronomically wonderful. Um, I was not expecting. See, this is, I'm thinking about when I first came to gather and he said, just trust. And I thought, you're crazy. What do you mean, just trust? And I had sheets and sheets and sheets of all these passages from the course that I would read, and I would read this much, and I would say this much, and I would read this much more, and I'd say just that much less. I needed to get this off me. My stress level was high, and I didn't realize that I was letting that contribute to my stress. I had, we try to compartmentalize stuff, and this is over here and this is over here, and I realize it's all. There is no over here and out there. When I drive from Pennsylvania into New Jersey, it's only because the GPS, on my car screen, that it says "Welcome to New Jersey," that I know I'm in Jersey. But you can't see the line of demarcation, a place where when one state ends and the next state begins, because there really is no separation. There really is no separation. If I lean up against you skin to skin, you can't tell. After giving a few seconds of our body temperatures merging, you can't tell where one begins and the other ends, because there is no separation. The whole thing of thinking that me thinking what I think somebody else is thinking is a control issue. First of all, I'm getting that. That's a control thing. Me thinking I can control, that's me trying to control what somebody thinking I can control, or thinking it's control for me to think that I know what somebody else is thinking. That's not my job. It's not my job, and it's not my business. I'm grateful to remember in this moment, that every thought I think is God, that every moment is God, that everything I see is God, that everything I'm feeling is God, and what I'm releasing is God's gift to me. And that God's given me this wonderful family, Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll get back to you all, I promise, next Thursday, to talk to you about this coming Sunday when I go to the center, because you all know what it's going to be. We all know already what it's going to be. It's certainly not going to be, unless they're all listening to this and they decide they want to all put on masks when I walk in and say, yeah, we're going to get her, that kind of thing. But not likely. But we know what it's going to be. I'm in gratitude. I'm in gratitude for choosing to be truly helpful, and letting the ego thoughts get out of my way. And speaking of getting out of the way, it's time for me to give up the mic. Thank you, family. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And here's the mic.
Thank you, Zulma. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you so much, Zulma. Yeah, what a wonderful session this